We're on the other side of the Shed Aquarium in the Lakeside Terrace garden, and I'm with a good friend of mine and a wonderful plantsman, Roy Diblik. And Roy, you have come up with this wonderful concept of no maintenance gardening. Why don't you explain that to us?
Sure, Jennifer. Well, what the no maintenance concept, first it came from the fact, but the thrill of a lifetime. I've grown perennials for 32 years. And after growing the plants for that amount of time, I've come to know them well. So I'm pretty confident in how these plants live and live a happy life. And through the last 15, 20 years, 30 years, the perennials have been put in the ground. They've been planted and treated like annuals. So they become short-term investments for a lot of folks. And the other thing is most plants are sold based on flower color and bloom time. A lot of people don't really come to know the plants in an intimate way. We don't think about roots, stems, foliage. And so the simple thing was look at growth rate and growth habit of a plant and look at plants that respect their space. You don't want to get too complex with the plants that seed heavily, spread by rhizomes. So when you look at those three components, plants that spread their space, growth habit, and growth rate, and then you say to yourself, what does this plant need for me to have a good life? What does it really need? And when you understand those components, then you can put plant communities together based on growth rate, growth habit.
A great example, isn't it?
And this was a good opportunity I had to do with the shed, and also contributed to a lot of the success at Lurie Garden with Pete Udolph. Was it's the simple coming to know plants. And there couldn't be more fun in gardening than having an intimate relationship with plants as you would with your own friends, is coming to know them in a close way.
Show us how it works here.
Well, here we have a Nepeta called Early Bird. Early Bird is a selection out of Germany, and it was selected for early bloom.
Like it is doing here.
And it'll bloom in traditionally May, but you don't have to cut it back for rebloom. It'll rebloom on its own in July in a more modest way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Stays in clumps, and it's a simple cedar. It's not a complex cedar like some of the other Nepetas, Phacenae. Seeds everywhere.
And I know they turn into thugs in the garden.
And you got them all over the place. And it's mixed with Calamintha nepeta, subspecies Nepeta.
This is my favorite.
And this is a selection out of Germany because it was sterile. So it seeds nowhere. So wherever you move this plant is where it stays.
And this has a very extended bloom time, doesn't it?
It blooms with a white cloud of flowers from mid to late July into October.
Phenomenal.
And as the weather cools in September, the flowers turn powder blue.
Excellent.
So it's a very soft texture, white to blue color.
I love this.
And then,
let's see how these work out together in here.
Well, this is Salvia East Friesland. And Salvia East Friesland is a selection from Ernst Pagels in Germany. It's more compact. And when it's done flowering, it flowers late May into June. And you have two options now. And this is part of the no maintenance, is you can let it bloom and cut it back and it'll rebloom in 3 to 4 weeks. Or you can let the new blooms come up through the old flowers and it creates a tapestry look.
Excellent.
So you don't have to go out here and prune if you don't want to.
And then how do these work together in a community?
Well, actually, I blended them together based on growth habit. The Salvia East Friesland forms an open mound and vertical. And here I've got a plant called Allium Summer Beauty, which I found at a guy's yard in Madison, Wisconsin. And I simply said, where's all your seedlings? And he said he didn't think it's seeded. So I got a piece of that in 1995. And again, it turned out to be a sterile allium.
And these are great because we saw these at the Lurie Garden.
Right.
They were all over the Lurie Garden.
Once Pete Udolph saw it, he saw the possibilities.
Now these all grow together as a community.
This will all knit itself together. And the whole idea is that when it knits itself together to create a closed community, that's where sunlight doesn't hit soil. That keeps agricultural weed seeds from germinating.
And then this also helps too, how it was actually mowed, and this is your concept of living in its debris.
We're letting the plants live in their own debris. And this is what they've traditionally done for hundreds of thousands of years before
out in prairies.
Human beings ever got involved with gardening. Plants lived healthy lives without us.
Excellent.
So a lot of these plants here, unlike tomatoes, peppers, and watermelon, they don't need us around that much.
So this is really all part of the understanding no maintenance. And it's not NO maintenance, it's know the plants
K-N-O-W.
and know the maintenance that's required, and you can have a great garden.
And you create a healthy system.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Roy.
Thank you, Jennifer and Roy. I love the no maintenance approach to perennials. We're going to be talking next to Sean Kingzett from the Care of Trees. It's spring, and that's when you need to worry about emerald ash borer if you have ash trees.